You are now listening to Obtain, Achieve, Thrive, Hustle with Metro. Come take the oath.
What's shaking? It's your boy, METRONORTH, a.k.a. Robert Drowney Jr., a.k.a. El Megalodon, Mr. Megalodon, however you want to put it. I'm him. But back with another episode. Finally back with another episode. Episode number 10 of O.A.T.H, a.k.a. Obtain, Achieve, Thrive, and Hustle. It's been a minute, man. It's been well over 6 months. I think the last episode of O.A.T.H dropped the end of last year, 2024. It's 2025. It's a new year, you know. I was just going through a lot. Had to figure some things out. Excuse me. Ooh. But yeah, figured a few things out though. You know what I mean? As far as like updates and everything, Social Sundays is officially canceled. Sad to say. I just decided that that's something that it's not for me. You know, it's not for me because I felt like I was doing a lot of extra work. I was the producer, the host, alongside with my other co-host, and editing, and putting the episodes out on YouTube, and chopping up clips and doing flyers for, like, the last couple episodes we did of Oath. I feel like the energy was good, but it was just something that in the back of my mind I was kind of like, I think this is run its course. So sad to say, man, Social Sundays is officially over after 3 seasons, or 2.25 season. But I wish everybody the best. Kwani B, humble. It's something that I definitely enjoy doing. I met a lot of cool people. I made a lot of connections, networked a lot. I believe I've explained this on past episodes. So, I definitely had a good time doing it. There's other things that we won't speak on that happened, that occurred, that, were great, but it was a good time while it lasted. But other than that, drop Paradise City 2. I know I was talking about that too on a recent episode. And that's out right now on SoundCloud and YouTube. And that's another thing. As far as the music goes, for right now, all of the music that I put out will be distributed on SoundCloud and YouTube, because as far as the streaming platforms, that's good and all, but checking the analytics of everything, the numbers weren't, the math wasn't mathing, basically. So I said, I want to figure out where my core audience is, and who really supports, who really listens to the music, and I feel like YouTube will definitely show me that, because with the analytics through Spotify for artists, and Apple Music for artists, it tells you, where and how many times and it was streamed, and all of that. But I just wasn't feeling it, man. And I feel like YouTube, I could kind of connect better with the audience. And so yeah, Paradise City 2 out now, and it's telling, if you've kept up with my music in the way that the first Paradise City went, it's telling the story. There's really supposed to be 3 parts, maybe 4, and it's just telling the story about some, a love story, basically. So, I mean, like I always say, I appreciate every ounce of support that y'all throw this way. People who rock with me since day one, new people that come across my page, my YouTube page, and I also deactivated all my socials. I had to take a break from social media, and what's crazy is, once I deactivated my social media, things kind of got a little bit better as far as doors opening, seeing stuff a little bit clearer because I'm not distracted by, the scrolling on TikTok or scrolling through Instagram and seeing everyone doing what they doing and trying to compare. Like, when you start comparing your life to other people's lives and all they showing on Instagram is the highlight reels and you going through whatever you going through. And you're like, man, if he got that going on, man, like, I wish I had that. Nah, man, I can't be like that. So I deactivated my socials. And only thing right now I'm on really is X. And I only go up there to promote whatever I'm dropping, and then I get up off there. I might say a few politically incorrect things up there if I'm in my feelings about something or drinking or something. But let me see. Let me look at my notes. Yeah, other than that, man, I've been chilling, man. I'm about to start this trucking school, get my CDL class A, man. For real, it's crazy out here. The economy, everything's expensive. Rent is due no matter how hard times get for you. It is just, you gotta figure it out. Everybody can't be a streamer. Everybody can't be a rapper. Everybody can't be an NBA player. And you know what I mean? There's not enough people trying to be carpenters and police officers. It's just everybody's trying to jump into the same thing. It's like even with this podcasting game, everybody's jumping in the podcasting lane, and then there's like a handful of people who I see, and some people I know personally who are actually successful in this, and they benefit off of it because it's so oversaturated. It's like, who do you listen to? And pretty much, basically, everybody talks about the same topics. Everyone has their different opinion on it, and I feel like nowadays with the podcasting or content creation in general, if you're not talking about something and being like over dramatic or being crazy and chasing clout, you're really not gonna make it. And if you know me, I'm not one to chase clout. I don't need it. I never needed it. I'm who I am. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't accept me for who I am, keep it pushing. Don't listen to my stuff. Don't stream my stuff. Don't tune into any other lives. Like, don't. I mean, you don't have to support me. But today, let's get into it. Shout out to Zip with the Drip. I've been watching him a lot. He's part of the reason why I said, you know what, I gotta get back on Oath. I gotta get Oath back up and running, man. Cause he really motivated me to get back on here, man. He about to have me start going live on YouTube and talking my stuff. But I want to get into something that I recently came across on TikTok when I was on TikTok scrolling, and it opened up my mind about everything I've been going through since 2017, and it's called it's something called collateral consequences. So what collateral consequences are legal barriers that impact your life, post conviction. So if you get arrested for something such as like a felony, any felony really, and you go to court, you go through the system and you get convicted, and then you get a release date. What happens is you spend how much time, however much time they sentence you. And don't get me wrong, when you come home and you get out, you be like, yeah, I'm home. You got plans. Sometimes those plans ain't in the cards for you. Perfect example is, I had plans to, you know, rap and, get in the mix in Atlanta and do all of that. And that didn't happen right away for me, because of these legal barriers, travel restrictions, not being able to get a job that pays a livable wage or a wage where I could pay my bills, travel, and enjoy my life, you know. But yeah, these consequences that you face that impact your life post conviction, and there are for real, I believe it's probably more, but according to Google, there's 45,000 collateral consequences. Such as like I just said, finding a good job, you know, rights to a higher education, certain charges you can't go to college or you can't be on a campus, um stripping you of your Second Amendment right. You know, the right to bear arms, the right to carry a weapon for protection, not just to have it on you and just be like, yeah, I up this. I mean, nothing like that. But these are the consequences that I face, especially for, you know, the nature of the crime I went to prison for. So it's like, since I've been home, right? This is about 8 years. It just hit 8 years on June. So I've been home about 8 years and a few weeks. So some of the consequences that I face is the whole finding a place to live that isn't in the trenches. You know, rent wow high, and I'm living in the trenches. I ain't got no driveway. I gotta park my car on the street. You know, or people just won't rent to you all out. You gotta go and have your shorty go and get everything in her name, and then you live with it. That's something that I don't like. I don't want to be living in a house where I'm not on the paperwork, and then we all know that if you're a real nigga, if you're not on a lease and you move in a certain way, in a blink of an eye, shorty could just be like, get out, and you gotta get out. This ain't your shit. So another consequences that I face, the whole finding a job. Now, I've been fortunate enough to be hired at certain companies to where they overlook the conviction or the criminal history in general because I had 3 felonies. So I was able to work doing, merchandising for almost 3 years, work in the food industry for almost 3 years, and really get the work experience and meet people that are like-minded like me, that I work with, that I can make a connection with, and they turn out to be good friends and lifetime friends and shit like that. But right now I've been unemployed for about a year, right? And I just been scraping up money and trying to stay above water, and it's hard, especially right now in this economy where gas $4 a gallon, eggs is $9, $8, orange juice $7. I went to the gas station the other day to get some drinks for the house. I bought two things. I bought a Coke and an apple juice, and it came out to about 8.75, and I'm like, bruh, this is crazy, and I'm not working, so every dollar I get has to go towards something important. So what I'm learning is I'm right now facing the collateral consequence of not being able to find gainful employment. I applied countless jobs over the year, and some jobs I went all the way up is to the onboarding process. And once they run that background check, they go, "Oh, now we good." We will get to inform me that we're withdrawing our offer or whatever. So I've never let stuff like that get me down because I already know what comes with this. I already mentally prepare myself. I did a lot of meditating and manifesting how I have to move in order to not get disappointed when I'm told no. So I'm always head high, confident. Even though if I know, like, man, they ain't gonna fuck with your boy. But I'ma still take it like, I bet that door closed. There's another door open or a window open. I'ma find it. So, like I said, I deleted my social. So I've been off social media. I've been chilling. I really just been sitting back thinking. I've been reading a lot. And I get a call the other day from, trucking school. And they like, yo, we want you to come in, have a meeting. Da, 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 da. Shit, man, I hopped on that. I hopped in the whip and I went up there the next day. Had a meeting, and basically they enrolled me in the class. And I'm starting in like literally like probably a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. So now I'm about to get my Class A CDL. And then, like I said, unfortunately, the other podcast that's done. So now I have time to focus on other things I need to focus on that, let's keep it a buck, is more important because I wasn't getting paid to do Social Sundays. I was doing that free because I seen the vision that Humble had and I was trying to help him, obtain his goal. But now that I'm gonna do this trucking school, and I'm getting help by people around me, which I'm super grateful for. But it's like I'm still facing, a lot of these collateral consequences. And it's always in the back of your mind. Like, all right, I could do this, I could get this certification, I could go to school and get a degree in this. But with that felony, with the criminal record, you have to do everything 10 times better than a person who doesn't have to, because you have to prove to people that you really want this. You made some mistakes, but that's not who you are. My one of the biggest things that piss me off is people who try to label you what they read on the internet, right? And in my case, I was 18 at the time, 19 when I was convicted, and people will try to go, make it seem like I'm still the 18-year-old, 19-year-old me that I was. I'm not. I'm 32 years old. That's years that have gone by where I was able to grow and develop, and my brain developed to where I seen things change around me and also change inside of me. You know what I mean? I'm not the same reckless maniac that I was back in the day. And if you know me from the Central days, I was a menace to society. And it was because there was a lot of things I was dealing with at home that turned me into that demon. But, I always keep in mind people are always gonna, prejudge you with that, oh, he went to jail for this or he did this, or you know what I'm saying? And they'll try to use that against you to keep you away from being as successful as you can possibly be. You know, I've spoken about what's happened in the past couple years. When people, have things to say in and their opinions may persuade other people to, cut off any association with your boy, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I still am gonna do music. I'm still gonna do podcasts. I'm still gonna be outside. I'm still gonna raise my daughter so she could grow up and not have to go through all of the things that I'm going through. She already winning by just having me in her life because I didn't have my father in my life. So, anyways, back to the collateral consequences. And I know all of us who have done prison time with, got crazy felonies and stuff. We all face these adversities and all this other shit. But one thing I will tell, dudes who are facing these collateral consequences is, no matter what, how many times you get told no, how many times somebody, brings up your past and uses it against you or throws it in your face like, oh, you went to, at the end of the day, if you're a good person, if you genuinely a good person inside and out and you living right, and you move with your morals and your ethics and your dignity, respect, you carry yourself like a man or a woman, well, however you identify, they can't take that from you. Real recognizes real. I really believe that because the people who I was around doing social Sundays with was real people. And I didn't have to go, yo, I'm a real nigga and do all of this animated and hyped up, look at me type shit. All I had to do was have a few conversations, make people laugh, and we clicked. Now, I could call people if I need something or if I want to do business. I have connections that'll get me into the door. Why, mind you, I'm still facing these collateral consequences, but I feel like a lot of the collateral consequences I deal with is more in the workforce, in my living situation, because real talk, in my mind, before I came home, I said, man, I want to move to the suburbs, right? By 2020, who would have thought the pandemic would have stopped all of that, and me, my criminal record would have stopped all of that. But at the end of the day, that's still not something that it's still something that could happen. It's not gonna. All of these things can't hold me back. Yeah, I can't, tote nothing. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I know I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where I need to have something on me. You know, I'm not gonna go around people who gonna put me in a position where now I gotta keep something on me to protect myself or whoever's around me. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I've been in the house for a year. I've been in the house recording albums, mixtapes, doing features, um, writing up scripts and just being productive. I'm not just sitting in the house on 2K and all of that. Like, to be honest, I haven't been in any video game lobbies in over a year. I don't even pay my PlayStation subscription no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just I've been focused on just really manifesting and planning and just doing all of this writing. So once I am working and making a substantial amount of money, I can put a lot of things in motion to where shit, I won't have to work until I'm 80 years old. I won't have to work a hard back breaking, you know what I'm saying, job and then get kicked off the clock like and just say I retire. Like, they making you retire. You old as hell, all the young bulls is coming in. But if you don't know what these collateral consequences are, I would say, and if you have felonies, I would say look these up. Look these up and study them. You know what I mean? Really sit back and think about, all right, these 45,000 collateral consequences are what I'm up against. How can I hurdle over these obstacles? You always got to have a plan, because once you get that criminal record, they gonna always, you could have committed a crime 35 years ago. And they say, oh, any any conviction over 7 years, they don't really consider it, but they do, depending on the nature of the crime you did. You know what I'm saying? If you murder somebody, they gonna be like, oh, this dude murdered somebody, but somebody might take a chance on you. But I would say just look these up, bro. Look these up and really come up with a plan. If you in a place like where I was at, where it's like you're not working, you're not going to school, you don't know where to go. You at rock bottom at that point. I would say I was at rock bottom. I wasn't completely fucked up, but mentally I was I was stressed out. I was exhausted because I'm thinking in my head, what am I gonna do? I'm not working. The job that I had, and I'm not even gonna lie, the job that I had, I cherish that shit because I'm like, me and bro working together. That's crazy because we was in seg together at one point. We was in a hole together at one point. So now we working together and we build our way up from basically just a worker to running a whole team. So now we the bosses on the job. There's no one above us other than the regional managers. So it's like we the ones, putting, this person on this job and doing all that. And I cherished it because I'm like, bro, we making good money. A little, it wasn't nothing crazy. A little 1,200, 1,500 here and there. This nigga Suede checks was like damn near 2 bands. Wow. But I cherish that job because I'm like, bro, I don't think it's gonna get any better than this. In my mindset, and it's crazy because you always think like I know what I want right now, and then you look back a year later and go, hey, that's not what I want. I don't even know what I was thinking. That's how I feel about that. It's like, yeah, the job was good. I wasn't really breaking my back at work. And I wasn't one of those people who get in a position of power and act like an asshole. If you want to take an hour break, take an hour break. Even though you was only supposed to take a 30-minute break. I'm just like, we getting paid good money and we're running the shit. That's why I was like, yo, I probably keep this job forever, for real. But then I look back today and I go, man, I was bugging. There's no way in hell I would want to sit here and be in a grocery store all day, taking shit off shelves and remodeling groceries. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Because in my soul, I know that it's something greater out there for me. I've always felt that way since I was a kid. So it's like, I can't take no job while I'm working for somebody at 50 years old. I can't. Even though there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. There's people all over America that work until they shit 80, and they good. You know what I mean? They can pay their bills, they can take their vacations, they got health care, they kids is straight. But for me, I feel like the way I grew up, the way I think, and the shit that I've been through, I'm like, nah, bro, I can't just be on some 9 to 5, go home. I've always felt like, you know what I mean? No matter what I'm up against, I'ma always get over it. I'ma always, do better, go harder. And that's how I felt coming home. But then I'm starting to see these collateral consequences prevent you from advancing at a shit moderate to high speed. Because like I said, they always gonna try to use your conviction against you, your record against you. And like I can't stress it enough, you gotta educate yourself. All right, I got this charge. So this right here, this consequence right here is gonna prevent me from, living in a luxury high rise somewhere. But then you gotta come up with a plan. How am I getting that high rise? I ain't gonna take no for an answer. Like I said, you could get Shorty to put everything in her name, or you could use a business and do all of that and put everything under that name. So it's like you just gotta have a plan. I know a lot of people who had these consequences up against them, and they didn't move smart. They fell victim to the how you say it, the cycle. They go back to jail, they reoffend, recidivism or some shit like that. I believe. When you just keep coming back, and I haven't been back to prison. They tried to send me back last year, right? They tried to hit me with a 6 suspended after 3. I said, shit, all right. And I haven't looked back. Once I walked out of Osborne CI in 2017, I never looked back. And I try to stay, out of the way and not outside too much. Even though at one point I was outside a lot, but I wasn't doing the most. I was just outside enjoying the time, enjoying the freedom. But now it's like, I'm in my 30s. I can't be outside all the time. I'm raising a daughter, and I got businesses that I got to run and that I'm trying to build up to become something where, could bring generational wealth. My dream for real was to be the person who broke that. Everybody in the family got to work a 9 to 5. Everybody struggling to pay their rent or they mortgage. Like I wanted to break that, but that shit wasn't in the cards for me, and I accepted that. And I looked at myself like, even though that's the case, I'm still not gonna just sit here and go, well, I'm gonna just become an average Joe and be, miserable and shit, working at a job that I don't want to be at, and in some type of field that I ain't got no business being in. My shit is, I wouldn't say entertainment, but it is entertainment. Content creation is a part of entertainment business, and I'm savvy on both sides as far as the music and the talent part. I'm more behind the scenes with it when it comes to uh content creation, like videography and shit like that. But the music, I do that as a hobby. So it's not something that I'm trying to get a deal. But everything that I do ties back into the hip hop culture. So, you know what I'm saying? None of those collateral consequences will affect me. I'm telling you that right now. Unless I allow it to. A lot of people will allow these consequences to just get the best of them, and just they don't have no vision or they have no motivation to go, man, fuck that. Like I'm gonna go hard with this shit, because at the end of the day, I made a mistake. I made a mistake, and I always look at it like, you make a mistake, right? You commit a crime and you get caught, right? You're going through and dealing with the consequences of your actions, right? You take your time, you do your time. Hopefully, you do your time the right way. You work out, you get healthy, you read, you evolve mentally, and you come home and you show people. Yeah, I was a wild nigga back in the day, but I'm him now. You know what I mean? You can't just go, man. Ain't nobody gonna hire me. Man, ain't nobody gonna rent to me. So I'm gonna just be living on some chick couch, or you know, couch hopping, or whatever you want to call it. I'd never be like that. Sometimes, like in this past year, when I was like, in my feelings about something because I'm not working and I'm like, yeah, I'm broke. But then I start thinking, yo, I'm going through this shit right now. But what I will say is I'm doing better than a lot of people. I'm doing better than a lot of people. There's a lot of people that couldn't deal with what I'm going through and what I've went through sober. Dudes would have been out here popping pills, becoming alcoholics, you know what I mean, smoking crack, anything. There's people I see on the street, on the West End in the port, that I went to school with, cracked out. And it's like, bro, you was in class. I wasn't. I was in class for about two classes out of a 7, 8 class day. You was in every single class. And you out here smoking crack now. Oh, I lost such and such, and so you use that as motivation to go hard. When my man Mike passed, I said, man, can't nothing stop me from putting on for my mans. You feel me? And I ain't gotta get his face tatted, his name. It healed my soul. For real. Today his sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Shanique. You know what I'm saying? His birthday's coming up as well. What I'm really trying to just say is like, despite all of the shit that you go through and you feel down in the dumps, you have to take a step back and look at everything that you've been through and the position that you're in right now. And you have to just go, yo, there's only one way to go from here, and that's up. And that's why I feel like I'm getting that momentum and I'm about to just shoot. I'm about to just shoot up. Pause. Shit sound crazy. But that's how I look at it. Like I said, I could be out here smoking crack. I could be, neglecting my child. Listen, I see to it that she takes a bath every night, that I lay with her before she go to sleep. And I may not read her storybooks like Ink and Winking and Nod and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? What I do is I sit with my daughter and I tell her them stories. She know that I've been in prison. She only 4. She about to be 5. But I tell her these stories. I tell her these things that when I was growing up, and I tell her certain things that I face. She might not be able to wrap her head around it because she's young, but she knows he been through this. He was here, and he used to be bad, but he's my dad, and I love him because I made a post of probably I think last year. It was a picture of me and Sway with our children, and in the caption I had said, a lot of people are gonna have their opinions about us, but at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters and the only perception that really matters to us is y'all, is the kids, our children. At the end of the day, I could give a fuck what somebody gotta say who is probably out here more fucked up than me, and I'm rock bottom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, you have to find motivation to overcome these collateral consequences. That's my message. You know what I mean? There's also ways around it that you can actually learn if you really sit back and read. Because I know a lot of you niggas don't like to sit down and read. A lot of y'all just like to get up in the morning, don't brush your teeth, and run outside and just be zipping and zooming off all day. But if you actually take some time on that $1,500 iPhone you got with that one girl's income tax check, if you use Google Chat GBT, whatever you call it, and you do your research on these collateral consequences, and you figure out ways that you can go around these things and not have to just give up because you feel like these 45,000 things that I up against me are going to beat me down and I'm gonna let it. You have to really learn, and another thing I tell everybody too, learn these laws, bro. Learn these laws because learning the laws also help you understand these collateral consequences and help you figure out ways around it. Not a lot of people will sit here and figure out how these laws work until they in prison. That's why you got them niggas with the kufis on going to the law library every day with 58 years talking about something. I'm trying to get home by 2030. Nigga, lay down, bro. Close the curtains. It's over. Nah, but free them. But anyways, all of the personal consequences that I have gone through, like they all built who I am today. Like when people tell me no, or people stop talking to me because somebody said something, that motivates me. It don't make me it don't make me any less than who I am right now. It motivates me. You feel what I'm saying? Like it motivated me so much that I was thinking about something that happened recently, and I'm like, you know what? The best revenge is just success. I said, you know what? I'm gonna start working out again. I used to be 145 pounds, right? Now I'm like about 202. Fat boy. You know what I mean? Pandemic came, I'm in the house, I'm eating, drinking every goddamn day. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get in shape, man. I said because I already could dress. I already got the personality. I already got the motivation and the mindset. I just need that body. Once I get that body, it's over. You feel me? And if y'all know, Kevin Gates is somebody who I watch faithfully every day. He motivate me so much because I look at him like, yeah, this is somebody who figured it out in life. We don't want to be going back and forth to prison and out of shape and I mean not in tune with your soul and your body. So it's like I'm watching him and I'm hearing him talk on Theo Von's podcast and I'm like, damn, yeah, I'm gonna really get these people back once I get in shape. And once I get in shape, I'm gonna become a monster. I'm a monster now. But I'm the monster that you gotta fight 3 levels before you get to the boss. I'm trying to be the boss. I'm trying to be that one boss that when you was a kid and you fighting him, he make you slam the controller. You break your shit. You can't even finish the game because your controller broke. Analog stick sticking to the left. You can't. That's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be undeniable. You feel me? I'm trying to be undeniable. Y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all could feel so however y'all gonna feel. But I know for a fact, even today, ain't nobody gonna run up on me on the street. Ain't nobody gonna test me because I carry myself like a man, and I demand the respect. You gonna respect me because of the way I am. I'm not an asshole, but I demand it too. That's how I was able to survive in prison for 5 years and leave there with the relationships I left with, and the respect that I left with, and the perception that people have of me in there is different from the perception that people who know me from the street is. You know what I mean? But yeah, don't let these things, if you can't find a job, bro, come up with a plan to start your own business. And if you got to, go get that job at McDonald's or go get that job doing some, anything or do freelance work. You know what I'm saying? Pick up a camera. You never know. You might be a good photographer. You know what I'm saying? Pick up a goddamn what you call that shit? I don't know. I forgot. I lost my train of thought because I looked out the window. But I'm just trying to help people that are in my position, that you feel like you at rock bottom, that you feel like you don't have nowhere to turn and nobody to turn to. And that's me. I feel like once my mom passed away, I don't really got nobody I could really talk to. So it's like you feel that way, you just gotta step up and be like, yo, I'm gonna learn this shit on my own. I'm gonna get to it by myself. And I would prefer to get to it by myself than with a gang of niggas who just here for the ride. And then once we start making some money, shit start breaking off. Niggas start stealing and doing some weird shit because then now it's like, what did we do all of that grinding and hustling for in the trenches just for you to get up and then act crazy? But anyways, I feel like I keep going on and on. I'm just trying to help people understand that with felonies, it's always hard. And unfortunately, it's a large portion of us black men between the ages of shit, I would say 15 to fucking average age. I mean the average age, like, you know what I mean? The demographic. I don't know exactly what. I don't have that written in my notes, but it's like majority of the black men, like we all got felonies, we all in and out of jail, addiction, health problems and all of that. And it's like, yo, you can't let this shit beat us down. I never will allow something or someone that's saying no or that I can't do stop me from living my life the way that I want to live my life. Because even though I hit rock bottom, I'm living the way I want to live. I'm here with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? We enjoy our days. We take it easy. We ain't doing no extravagant shit. But the little things we do, I know she appreciates. Just going outside, jumping up and down. You know what I'm saying? Like the other day, I went and picked up my old VCR DVD player from my mother's house, right? Hooked it up to the flat screen in the living room. We got Aladdin over here, 101 Dalmatians, like shit like that. That's what I want to do. But I want to be financially well off to where I ain't gotta worry about, yo, how the fuck is we gonna pay the rent on the first? Because a lot of people had this American fatigue where they just tired of working. They feel like they living paycheck to paycheck. So I mean, you feel me? Like everyone just like, yo, I'm working to just give my money back to the, you know what I mean? And whether you got felonies or you just a law abiding citizen, everybody's going through this shit. But it's just when you have felonies, you really go through it. You really go through it because every door that you try to walk through may get slammed on your face. It's slammed in your face. And a lot of doors have been slammed in my face. A lot of things have been grand opening, grand closing. And I never allow them things to keep me down. Yeah, sometimes I might be mad at the moment, but I never take anything personal. Even though I may think in the back of my mind, like, man, maybe it's because of this, but I never let that shit come out and I show my ass and, get online talking shit. You just gotta figure out a plan. You gotta find a way to really do your shit, do your stuff without having that collateral consequence shit really take over and detour you from where you want to go, if you understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was reading this morning, my man Jai had sent me this article about the dude Jonathan from Rich and Unemployed. And let me see, it said that he got booked for an alleged $10 million fraud case. So this dude right here, he's part of the motivation that I have too. He's motivated me a lot because he has a criminal record. He did time in the feds. He gets out and he starts this brand, this Rich and Unemployed brand. And to me, from my perception of it, was a lifestyle brand. Like, you know, you don't want to be broke. You don't want to be bummy. He dressed up in suits, Rolex, driving a Ferrari. He looks like my type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who I would gravitate to in real life. And I remember him speaking around last year time saying, times is hard. Pockets is looking a little light right now, so he's taking a break. I feel like he was dealing with some of those collateral consequences. Now, as far as the alleged $10 million fraud cases, I don't know what the fuck he had going on. But I feel like he was going through some adversity and it was because criminal record. But in the beginning, when he first popped up on my algorithm, I said, "Damn, this dude went to the feds, and he came home and he basically created this brand that is a brand that I'm attracted to, something that I like because it was that lifestyle. Like you living in Atlanta, you a young black man, you handsome, like you know what I'm saying, like that just raw black excellence shit. That's what I was into. So to see him going through this case right now, I'm like, damn, like I don't know the full situation. I got to do a little bit more research, and I'll get back to you on it. But it's like I feel like he started going through some of those collateral consequences because he has a brand that he runs. There's nobody that's the face of his brand. A lot of people keep saying, "Oh, this ain't gonna work unless you got somebody that's the face of your brand." I don't want nobody to be in the face of my brand unless it's something that I know is profitable and that they'll do the right thing with my brand. Cause you won't want to make somebody the face of your brand and they do some wild shit, because that's why a lot of celebrities lose endorsements. But anyways, man, I pray for the dude Jonathan, because some of that content he was doing, man, when he used to do those late night special joints, them uncut, the rich unemployed uncut, oh man. He used to have them women up there lit, because he has that charisma, that swagger, where it's like the setting, the whole formula of the show was so dope. And I hate to see somebody who had an idea and bring it to life in a brand and blow it up the way he did fall to something like, a fraud case. But who knows, bro? He probably was really down to the last of the last and was like, yo, I gotta scrape up a few dollars. I mean, fraud's never the way to go. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta do what you gotta do. You make certain decisions. You gotta understand that these decisions come with consequences. And am I willing to deal with those consequences like a man, and then deal with all of the shit that come with it after? People ain't gonna want to do business with you, because they gonna think you gonna be trying to scam them out of some money now. You know what I mean? So who knows, man? Unless he do like I just said, he finds a face for his brand and he pushes it like that. I don't know. But seeing him like that is, you know, it hurt a little bit, because he's somebody who motivated me to really even do this old shit. Him, Zip with the drip. Obviously people like Wallow and Gilly. Um, and most of all, I motivate myself. That's one thing I've been meaning this. I motivate myself, because I'll go back. I barely go back and watch podcasts that I've been on, but I'll go back and watch certain podcasts that I've been on, and I go, I could do this shit. Because I'm not a self-centered dickhead. I'm not doing it for clout. I'm not up there saying crazy shit. Um, it's just natural. Like it comes natural to me. If I'm sitting down with you and I'm interviewing you, I'm asking you questions I genuinely want to know, and they just may so happen to be questions that other people may want to know. But I'm gonna do it like an open floor conversation. I'm not gonna be like fucking Barbara Walters and ask you a million questions back to back to back. We're gonna have a conversation where it's natural and you're gonna get comfortable. That's why when I do podcasts, when you see the people up there with us, we laughing. I'm always telling jokes. I'm always saying some fucked up shit, because I'm not about to be up here interrogating you. That's mad weird. I need it to be natural, laid back. You comfortable, I'm comfortable, and let's get to it. But anyways, another thing that helps you get over these collateral consequences, and it should be obvious for real, is having a support system, bro. You know what I mean? A woman in your life, a family in your life, somebody who sees your vision, sees that you are a good person. You just went through some things and you made some choices that weren't that good. Find you a support system, bro. You feel me? Because without a support system, you'll really go, man. These consequences getting the best of me. Forget it. If you don't have somebody behind you saying, yo, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. And I mean, I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm not talking about somebody you see on Instagram. I'm talking about people in your life that personally know you. You need the people that personally know you, that know your life, that know your, like, just know you. Because a lot of people today, they worship these celebrities. They worship, these people they see on the internet, these influencers, but these people don't know you. Yeah, they'll say, "Oh, you could be anything you want and you can go as far as you want." But at the end of the day, the people who know you, they gonna keep it real. If they real people, if they love you, and they gonna keep it real. All right, bro, you want to do this, but you also got to take into account that it's this. It's like with when somebody trying to rap or something, right? You don't want a bunch of yes men around you. You want people who fuck with you, who know you, to be like, "All right, yeah, that one song ain't it. How about instead of saying this, take that out, say this." Like, you want people who know you personally to go, "Bro, listen, you could do this shit. You can't just give up. You gotta do this shit." Because at the end of the day, without a support system, how you gonna stand tall? How you gonna stand tall without a foundation? How you gonna stand tall and stand on business if you don't have something supporting you that's strong enough to support these big ideas and these in the shit that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, find you a support system, man. If you got to, go find you a nice little pog or something. You know what I'm saying? Get you a nice little chubby white girl. She might have a little Chevy Blazer, 2-door, something. You know what I mean? But she love you for you, even though you probably a bum and you been staying on her couch and farting in her living room and snoring and shit. Just find you a support system, bro. And I will say, the best support system are women, bro. Find you a woman that really fuck with you, who see your vision, who really love you. Whether you down in the dirt, the dumps, you fucked up, save drawers for 5 days, you can't even afford a cigarette, nigga. But she still gonna love you. She still gonna go, you know what? I see the potential in you. I see that you could be a king if given the opportunity. Because I feel like we all do great if we had the opportunity to. But how they say, um, a fish don't know it live in water. I forget how that saying go. But it's like if you're not exposed to something better than what you know, how you gonna know that there's even anything better? You feel me? So I feel like a woman will show you like, yo, this is things better in life, and this rock bottom shit that I'm on right now isn't it for me. This ain't the end. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't make it past that. A lot of people go, you know what? This is rock bottom. I'm out of here. Peace, and they just end it all. And that should be crazy to me. But yeah, find you a support system, man. Find you a support system. But that's what I wanted episode 10 of the Oath podcast to be about. Literally, look these consequences up. Collateral consequences. There's 45,000 collateral consequences that keep you from finding good housing, job opportunities, uh, amendment rights, um, keeps you from being able to get in college. Like, look these things up, learn them, keep them in mind when you're going through life, because you don't want to be just trying to go down these dead end streets just to be told no. And then you get upset and you explode and you say, "Oh, I had it. Fuck everything." You don't want to crash out. You feel me? Just, learn these shits and figure out a plan. Figure out, all right, if they say no here, they're gonna say yes soon. You just gotta keep going, stay motivated. I mean, get your mind right, get your body right, read more, work out. I mean, drink more water. You know what I mean? Stop fucking with them bird ass hoes. You know what I'm saying? Stop dealing with bum ass niggas that just wanna, be outside and doing the same shit every day. Really just get on your shit, because life don't wait for nobody, man. I literally felt like I blinked 4 times and I was 18, 19, 25, blinked one more time, and I was 30 something years old, bro. That's really how I feel. It feels like, yo, life went by so crazy that I'm in my 30s now. And I had to adjust so many of my plans in life to according to my age, so I can move, a certain way and not like a weirdo, or a nigga that's just doing something, beating a dead horse. You know what I mean? But find your support system, get your mind, your body, and your soul right. You know what I'm saying? And laugh more, for real, because that's what really be having me on one. When I laugh, oh man, a good laugh, don't nothing bad matter after that. Excuse me. But yeah, man, this has been episode 10. I usually end, y'all know how I do. I usually end the episode with a final word. But I don't have a final word other than just learn these collateral consequences and come up with a plan. Come up with a plan that prevents you from crashing out and giving up. Because there's too many dudes in prison that are talented, that are intelligent, that should really be out here, but they got, told no so many times that they just say, you know what, I'm going to just make a decision that I might not be able to come back from, man. Yeah, man. So on that note, it's been oath, man. What we gonna obtain, we gonna achieve, we gonna thrive. and we always gonna hustle. Holla.
You are now listening to Obtain, Achieve, Thrive, Hustle with Metro. Come take the oath